Sylvia, a woman, black woman nogal, journalist, haragat, because that's the only way you can survive.
A lot of the time I felt that I shouldn't say anything. It's not as bad as what I would hear from you, the horror that would happen to their whole family.
If you didn't live through apartheid, it's easy to think, well, now that it's over, let's get on with it. But people have real deep trauma that they can't even name. What has decades of apartheid done to me, and what has hundreds of years of colonialism done to me, and what are we handing over to our children?
Healing is not taking away that which hurts, it's accommodating that which hurts.
Our stories has never gone into the school books. Why? Why wouldn't they put it into the school books?
It's all about the neglected and distorted histories of our people and putting that back into the landscape of our history.
So as you can see, it's quite respectful.
I'm at a loss for words.
Hulle ek glo nie hulle kan rus daar waar hulle nou is nie.
I'm still sitting and wait for a long time.
How do we tell a different story? How do we tell the story of who we really are?
I feel like Romeo.
My partner Sipa and I met around 2012.
Every night she got me like a body. I said, ooh.
She upheld herself, she was confident. And when she rejected me, she was sure that no, I don't love you, I don't date girls. She was not harsh or rough with me, but she explained to me. At the same time, I think I kind of guilt-tripped her by crying. At MCAP, our aim is to end period poverty.
So the first question is in line, do you use both of the cups? As better than chilo, light flow and standard flow.
It's like one of those first days you start your periods. You just had that one pad and it leaks and you get embarrassed at school and you decide, I'm dropping out of school. It goes to a far point whereby you have an abusive partner or a boyfriend, but you're depending on them to buy you that same entire pad. Rosie and I met at grassroots soccer. I don't know, we the weirdos. I think that's why we bonded. We both loud, we crazy.
I'll traffic it forward.
Did we have eye contact? We didn't have eye contact. Alonzo. No talking. I just heard a lot of like, hey, give me the ball, hey!
My third graders are getting taken by the police because neighbors accused them of stealing a phone. My dream is that we have our own space.
a proper academy style where there's dormitories, there's a kitchen, there's a school, there's fields. The field at our center will be named the Anati Mablewana field because she was another best friend of ours, RV United member, who was murdered for being gay, who was lit on fire in her shack and locked in there with her girlfriend. Ati's gonna run the head of programs. I mean, Ati would be, the director of like football.
Rosie idea, the sport academy for women is my calling. I believe this is a dream come true for the next generation to enjoy what they wanna do in life.
Mohsin Hendricks, who is hailed as the world's first openly gay imam, was shot dead over the weekend in Cape Town in what rights groups fear may be a hate crime. LGBTQ people in the country still grapple with high rates of discrimination and violence.
I do not wear gold. I wear imitation gold, fake gold, because I do feel that gold is dirty.
When you see the orange color, that is acid mine drainage that has contaminated the soil. It's not acute, such as a Hiroshima or Nagasaki or a Chernobyl. It's your low-dose, long-term exposure to radiation.
It is an environmental disaster because those impacts can never be reversed. The thing is, when you look at that dump, you are unaware that that sand is toxic and radioactive. Nowhere in the world do you find radioactive hazardous sites amongst residential communities.
You will see this water is black because of all the heavy metals.
How many people are being impacted where the mine dumps have not been fenced off and people either live on top of them or right next to them?
Oeh, as die stof wy man, jy's terrible hierso. Ons moet die stoep as asfalt tot binne in jou voorhuise.
Die arme kan nie stryd nie. Hy bly net so. Die dokter het my gesê is eintlik binne haar nerves. My hart is seer meneer, want as ek kon geloop het meer so alles vir haar kon self gedoen het.
I think my whole training in life had been to be controversial. I have received a number of gestures of intimidation. I've also had an incident. I lost control of my car and it was found that my steering wheel was sawed off.
You cannot see it, you cannot touch it. It goes into the body. It is like the wind.
For me, it's a matter of environmental ethics because your environmental and social justices are interlinked. You cannot separate the two.
This is the legacy of gold mining. And now that gold mining is in its absolute sunset phase, where it's coming back now as human health issues, it's coming back as water contamination, it's coming back almost as fear.
I believe there is a God. I just think that perhaps God has lost his interest in mankind. And that is why I felt it is now my duty to go out and to try and restore some sense of justice. Even if I fail in that, at least at the end of my life I could say I have tried, and I do think I have made a little difference.
The name Nelson is too famous for you just to throw it away. And I have never thought of changing it.
It's tough. If you're going to be a progressive, you have to be tough. Nobody intimidates Mandela.
He's good, and people's hearts leap because they're saying, this is how we can be.
I remember shaking hands with him and looking at his face. And his face was beautiful, and then when you looked closer, there were 1,000 very tiny wrinkles, and I just thought, they have stolen such a precious amount of time from you.
I'm now in my 85th year, and I must be satisfied with my life as it is.
Do you have regrets?
No.
Mandela often jokes about the day when he'll retire from his retirement, but it's still a long way off. There's no peace for a living legend.
You must not disturb my hair. I took an hour combing it. If there is anything that would kill me, is to wake up in the morning not knowing what to do. The only thing that keeps me going is the fact that I have a program. That is one thing that keeps me alive.
You won't grab a sandwich like we would do. You cannot, after 27 years, change your routine. I really think, that's something that just comes with a disciplined mindset that was forced upon him in prison. If you look at how he folds newspapers and how particular he is about his things and the order in which things are placed, I think that really comes from spending a lot of time in a small space.
Because he knows that he has this moral strength which keeps him true to himself and true to others.
Any conversation we ever started together where he starts by saying, "My president," the rest of the conversation is he's going to ask me to do something that I will wind up doing, whether I want to do it or not.
Oh, that's not uncommon.
Wuppertal in the Cederberg Mountains of South Africa, a place where history is being made. And in the driver's seat of this story is an unassuming bush called rooibos.
Over these years, Wuppertal remained undisturbed, beautiful area. For generations, we rely on rooibos tea, not only as a source of income. The rooibos, this miracle plant, is part of our heritage, it's part of us. It runs in our blood.
Knowledge has come out very, very strongly as one of the key things that define the San and the Khoi, which they've got and which are valuable for the world.
There was recognition that most of the world's biodiversity was in the countries of the south, but it was being exploited to the benefit of countries of the north.
The people of South Africa are taking momentous steps to redress this north-south imbalance, to be recognized and rewarded for their rooibos traditional knowledge.
The kind of knowledge that is held over thousands of years, usually, by a community which has passed the knowledge down over generations, and they passed it down orally, and they also shared it.
En hy is baie goed vir ekseem, is hy net so goed. Kinders wat ekseem het. En vir hare wat die hare was, dan kan jy die rooibos tee ook vat en was jou hare aan vir die skilvers.
Nee, ek sê rooibos tee is direk van die Here vir die armen.
Die wilde tee is die wonder van rooibos. Dan sal jy net sê, I love this one. Ja, hy is regtig uniek.
With modern times, it's become seen as a source of intellectual property rights, because it does have a value, and there's something unfair when someone else uses the value without compensation.
And the idea was that any company wanting to use the indigenous resources of another would have to get access, but in return for access, they would have to give benefits.
Dit was verskriklike baie navorsing wat gedoen was om seker te maak dit is die Khoisan, die Khoi en die San se tradisionele kennis.
All the indigenous peoples of claim is acknowledgement and an appropriate benefit.
Maar hierso sit 'n stukkie goud wat ons moet vertroet het. Ja.
So it took quite a while, I can say this, before the rooibos industry agreed to sit down and acknowledge that the San and the Khoi are the TK traditional knowledge holders regarding rooibos, and that therefore in accordance with the law they need to sit down and negotiate.
We must talk, and I think in our interaction and talk to each other we can find a common ground how we can solve this problem.
Finding common ground has been aided by a landmark report commissioned by the South African government. And any day now, the talks between the Khoi and San nations, the holders of the traditional knowledge and the commercial rooibos industry, will produce a historic agreement.
Given the fact that we received acknowledgement from the rooibos industry, we will now enter into more serious talks on how the real benefit sharing agreement will be rolled out. And the parties that will be involved in this discussion will be the National Khoisan Council, the San Council, and the Rooibos Council.
I would like to claim responsibility for claiming the stage for South African stories.
Ordinary stories spun like symphonies. Athol Fugard making music with words. Sunday night, 7:30, Docuville, SABC 3.
Ons was bang geweest. Wie stel nou nie bang? Ons was bang geweest, maar okay, die werk, wie moet dit nou die werk doen? Ons moet dit doen. Ons staan ons.
The Idols contest plucked Karen Kortje from the apple farms. Then she nearly lost it all.
Ek is nie meer Karen Kortje die idol nie. Ek is nou Karen Kortje.
Karen Kortje, Idol of Note, Sunday night, 7:30, Docuville, SABC 3.
Sometimes when I feel afraid, I think of what a mess I've made.
Ek was 'n laaitjie van die Mitchells Plain, gestuur na julle om die
Emo Adams jives his way across racial barriers in Afrikaans. Signs of a nation coming together at last. Emo Adams, tall, dark and Afrikaans. Sunday night, 7:30, Docuville, SABC 3.
Once you go black, you never go back.
it leaves one to speculate really rather cynically. You say either the Afrikaners and the ANC did a deal which said, you don't dig in our affairs and we'll help you on your way. Now, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that.
Well, we'd hardly been going very long when a large brown anonymous envelope arrived with what is called the CIEX report inside it. And there's a fair amount of dynamite in that report.
It's a tale that involves spies, shady deals and stolen billions. And it all started when the old government was up against the wall in the dying days of apartheid in the 80s.
Has there been any pressure on you to leave this alone?
No, not really. Not.
Do you think that ABSA has anything to pay back to the Exchequer or to the Reserve Bank or to the people of South Africa?
I definitely don't think so.
Our story of grand theft is just one instance of how South Africa's elite used corruption and co-option to build empires. But there's so much we haven't told you.
Real democracies exist in countries where there is equality. And in our country, instead of inequality going away, it is becoming bigger and bigger.
The current government receives a report called Project Spear from a British consultant who provides intelligence to governments and who specializes in international fraud. It outlines how stolen loot of 30 billion rand can be recovered. The government signs a deal. But nobody will tell us why South Africa later walks away from this agreement. In search of answers to this inexplicable turn of events, we find ourselves in strange places.